So here it is. The 20th episode of My Hero Academia has just aired, and the fact is we got one more episode to go before the season finale. But I will have to say this episode was just so emotional, so impactful, so important to the story itself. I don't know about you guys, but the music and the soundtrack on this episode alone just went so hard. It had the climaxes at the right times. It had its low moments, had its sad times. Like, it was just so good as the episode kept going. Toga and Uraraka, they were given pretty much the whole episode, but they deserved it because this was like, if these were like actors, this would be Oscar-winning acting to say the least. I come away from this episode just feeling like so conflicted with Toga because I feel so bad for her and what she's been through. And we've discussed this in the past. If you've checked out any of my other videos or shorts or TikToks, specifically talking about Toga and how she loves and what she feels is love, clearly we have a girl who has a mental disorder. Through her mental disorder, she doesn't feel she has one. She feels like she's the only one that's opposite of the whole world. She sees how people, care, love about family, pets, and all this, and to her, it's completely foreign. And while she feels that true love and a step towards love is to ingest the blood of the person that you care for, it's just, like I said, someone that totally is clearly through some mental hurdles here, yet and still the closest person that she had to her was Twice, who clearly had a mental disorder himself. He was taken away from her, so that just only pushed her even more to the edge. So anyway, before we get even more into this episode, make sure you guys like the video, make sure you guys are subscribed, because we'll definitely, we got a lot of anime to go over this season, but definitely check out the Patreon if you haven't already. The link is down below. Hey, I would love to have you guys over there. Check out some reactions, because this was a very powerful episode, and it was very, very, very strong emotionally. Kind of made me feel bad for the situation Toga's in, and honestly, Uraraka. So let's deep dive this. Here we are, we have Toga. Toga comes from a family that just wanted her to be a nice little girl, normal little girl. And as little girls do, they find things cute and endearing, like, oh, this birdie's cute. Oh, this person may be cute. So her way of growing closer to it was like, it's so cute, I just want it to be one with me. So, she kind of is a little yandere, and she just wants its blood, and she feels like the blood of something means to actually ingest it and have it become a part of you. So grows closer to said object, person, or thing. But, that's not really the thing that is with society. When trying to go after the blood of something, that's a little twisted. But from her point of view, it isn't. And like I said, clearly there's a mental disconnect there. But instead of her parents actually trying to listen to her, feel from her point of view, they just yell, scream, and it's just like, how dare we have a daughter that's not perfect? Her trigger words seem to be whatever someone said normal. Like when apparently we learned through this, she actually went and seen a therapist, but the therapist is like, all right, let's make you normal. And she's overhearing everyone saying, oh, she's not normal. So even the therapist is like, yes, with children that has very strong quirks, this can be, mentally afflicting to them. But instead of the parents trying to understand her, they just kept yelling, screaming. So of course, Toga rejects all of that, school, home life, all of that, joins the League of Villains because she feels, okay, League of Villains, I could be, who I want to be someone. But honestly, the League of Villains almost was another mask, another way of her not being herself, because then it was like the way Twice was like, hey, now you could just kill people as much as you want. And so then she started just killing people to kind of fit in with her new surroundings as far as for the League of Villains. Yes, she had some autonomy, some freedom. The only one that really understood this was Uraraka, because she would see through her mask. Now, on the flip side, here you have Uraraka. Like she said, she was born into a poor family, and so she wanted to, be a hero so she could make money for her family and make everyone happy. Uraraka is someone that is very strong, knowing the emotions of the group or surrounding. That's how she did so well in the speech to the crowd to make Deku acceptable into the actual school to rest. And here it is the case that she sees the emotions of Toga and understands that Toga just needed a friend, needed someone to accept her for her, just needed someone for her to talk, because every time they kind of met, she would see different times where she's supposed to be happy, but she's sad. And then Uraraka sees like she was her happiest with no mask or anything when she's admitting her feelings for Deku, and just all these little circumstances when they met. So Uraraka's like, I'm laying all my cards on the table. This is how I felt. This is how I feel. The way that you were just so bright-eyed and smiling so hard when you're admitting your feelings for Deku, I was jealous. She just kept going, to the point that we get this moment where Toga, who is still behind her mask, saying that she really hates her and stuff, just kind of like accepts her true honest feelings. Uraraka's like, if you want some of my blood, take it. And by doing this, it opens the door, pathway, for Toga to see that, oh, she is so honest. Like the mouse coming before the lion, no fear, tries to save the lion by pulling the nail from its paw. Uraraka's here trying to go before Toga, and it's like, here, if this is what you really want, take my blood, sure, whatever. You know, make more of it. It's like, whatever you need, just let's sit down, let's chat. And when they actually had the moment of chatting, they are literally chatting like they're girls, you know, like girls in high school or something, and just sitting chatting about boys, about anything under the sun. And it's just like, it was just such a real moment that this is exactly what Toga needed. And honestly, I feel bad that she didn't get this earlier. Uraraka went so hard this episode, and as we had discussed last week with Dabi manifesting a new power-up through his emotions with his family, here it is, Uraraka has her power-up, where she's, like Shigaraki, able to make things float without touching them. So by her touching one thing, it touches another and makes a big grand wave that where everything floats in the air. Shigaraki, if you remember previously, he had a power-up where his decay ability started decaying stuff he didn't even touch. So, which of course makes him even stronger at this point right now. Really good that she got this at this point. She's on her, I say deathbed, but she's been stabbed, bleeding like crazy, to the point where it's showing her where she was first coughing up blood, but then started vomiting. I'm like, when she's not even vomiting blood out, like it's just, I don't know, maybe like bile itself. I'm like, this girl is in serious critical condition, but she's still fighting through this, fighting through passing out to just make this conversation with Toga, which she knew was a very powerful moment and that needed to happen in order to bring Toga down off of this anger, anxiety, all these emotions, to where they can have their moment to talk. I didn't even realize that her suit, which is supposed to be almost like a spaceman suit, because she goes around through anti-gravity a whole lot, because that is her quirk, her suit is almost like you're in space. Like she has, I want to say like jets through the heels where she's able to guide and move through the air. Even more so, it's like, oh, I didn't realize that she had that power up in her armor. Like we know that she had the whip so then it can exchange her range to making things flow further away or grab into things. But she also finally mixed up her quirk with her martial arts skill, which only kind of made sense to me. You know, one thing about flipping people, pushing them aside, but all she has to do is just kind of touch them with the pads of her fingers. So as she's flipping them, she's like touching them, so then they just kind of float by. It's like, okay, there we go. We're getting some manifestation of mixing, because her martial arts is not a quirk. She learned that from Gunhead. I love the fact whenever she does her Gunhead martial arts, she proclaims it out like it's a quirk, and it's like, girl, it's just CQC. It's like, come on now. But Uravity actually stepped up, had her moment. Like, this is probably like the strongest, other than her speech moment, one of the strongest moments that Uraraka can and probably will have. And I will also say the similarities between her and Deku was very showcased in this episode. Like, they're more so in this episode than I think any other, has shown how she and Deku are almost meant for each other, because she is having her battle with Toga. She is not the thrown away outcast heroine side character like we've had with Sakura and several others. She has her own battles. She's coughing up blood. She's in the thick of things, and show that the children aspect of Uraraka and children aspect of Toga, as they're trying to show like the innocence between them. I'm pretty sure in the future with Deku and Shigaraki is probably gonna have more of that too. We've already seen clues and hints of that through even the theme song alone, showing Deku as like a young child and then Shigaraki as his child form. So this was almost like a precursor showing in the future, okay, this is what you can expect as they try to reach each other on an emotional level with Shigaraki and Deku. The same with Toga and Uraraka. Overall, I think this was a really, really good episode, and I would dare say like probably one of the most emotional episodes we've had out of My Hero Academia in quite some time, to where everything was just kind of laid bare and honest. And just this whole storyline of Toga is just, I said this earlier, it's just, to me, just feels so conflicting, because she's so, you could tell where there's someone who just wanted to reach out and have help, but then society just cast her aside, like most of the League of Villains, especially like Shigaraki. Like, just, they became villains because they just needed that extra help that wasn't given to them. So if they just kind of had someone that understood them at a bigger level, they wouldn't be who they are in this society right now. And it's just sad that it has to come to this point in order for this to happen, to where it's affected the whole world, not just Japan, not just the city, and not just who the characters are themselves. So overall, great episode. And the fact that this is episode 20 and we only have 21 episodes a season, so next week, as the clues showed, it looks like it's going to be about All Might, and that's going to be the season finale. So, oh man, I already know we're going to be left on a cliffhanger. I hate it so much, but it's probably going to happen, to where we got to wait until season 8. Because there's no way they're going to wrap all of this up, the Deku's fight with Shigaraki and everybody else's fight, in one episode. Please, I hope they don't, because that would be the most throwaway episode I've ever seen. And this build up this season has been astronomically momentous. So we shall see how it all turns out, but overall, great episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Definitely, I would love to hear you guys' opinions, but make sure you like the video, make sure you guys are subscribed. We'll definitely discuss this and other anime here on the channel. Please be safe, take care, and Lord willing, I will see you next time. Bye for now.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.